set up for my wife. Oh, snap, crackle, pop. Oh, wow. I don't know if you can see this. I've got my strap shortened. My toes are about a quarter of the way under the plates. Wanted more therapy pulling me that way. The longer the strap is, the easier it's going to be to move the weight. More of kind of a strength exercise is going to be as you extending up and your legs kicking back. You'll be able to squeeze your glutes back, hamstrings a little more. The shorter the strap is, and this is really, really short, especially my giant feet, it makes it much, much heavier. Much, much heavier. The farther your feet are underneath it, the more it's going to pull you this way. And that's what I want. I want my spine to, I want it to break down, I want to segment into little pieces. And I want everything to be open. And I want the blood to go into everything. I want everything from my hamstrings, my hips, piriformis, QLs, my obliques. I want everything to be stretched as much as possible. And it's not, this is much different than like the sit and reach test, where you sit down on the floor, put your feet in front of you, and you reach out towards your toes. Because when you do that, you're actually flexing your body to reach, especially if you have any kind of muscle whatsoever. So in order for you to demonstrate flexibility, you have to contract and get tight to do that. And that may be good for a little elementary school test, but if you are a bigger person and you are in pain, you need to relax in order to stretch the muscle. I think that's why foam rolling very rarely works. Does not work for me. You put the foam roller on the floor, first of all, if my back hurts, now I've got to get onto the floor. And if my back really hurts, not like oh my back hurts, but my back hurts, me getting to the floor is going to be a challenge, and I'm going to be in pain. And then once I get there, that's to balance myself onto a foam roller. It means something else has to be tight, and I need everything to be relaxed. So when I'm up here, Harley, I don't need to get in there with a snake. So when I'm up here, what I can do, I want to add more weight before I'm done. I get my hips way up on this thing, and I prefer these handles out even farther. But I've got this set for my wife so she can use it in the morning before she goes to work, because her back's bothering her, as well as night before she goes to bed. I just want to hang. So not only is it pulling my feet in front of me like the sit and reach test, but it's also pulling my feet down towards the floor. So my head is up here and it's pulling my feet up. So if you imagine doing the sit and reach test and you just being completely relaxed, balancing, and someone is grabbing your ankles and they're pulling you, and maybe there's someone with a band around your waist that's holding you there, so someone's pulling you, and you're actually able to let your pelvis and everything relax. And that is the brilliance of this. Getting up here, and I'm just laying across, my feet are hanging towards the ground, and the strap is pulling my feet towards the ground as well. So I'm lengthening my body. This is just like being on an inversion table and being stretched by something at the same time. Oh, that's grand. Oh. Do something stupid and add one more band. Also, don't be afraid to turn your feet in different directions. It's very, very common. People get on here, and the first thing they want to do, they don't notice it, but they look at, because of the strap comes to a point. Unless you're using one of the reverse hypers with the lever things on it, the dual pendulum type thing, it kind of locks your feet into a wider position. But it's very common to see people point their toes out when doing this. And that's fine. It's a lot more glutes and a lot less hamstring and back. Challenge you, when you're doing this, make sure your feet are exactly straight. And if your feet are exactly straight, try turning them in just a little bit. That's a whole lot more glutes. And if you're having some kind of hip problem, especially piriformis, sometimes that ever so slight pull on the way in will allow that piriformis to stretch out a little bit. You can use the piriformis muscle and get it a little bit warmer. And if your back, QLs, anything in that area is setting on fire, it could easily be linked with hip rotation. A lot of people have back problems the day after they squat or the day after they deadlift. Maybe it's not the back muscles being worked, but it's every time that hip rotates in an incorrect position or a position where the toes are out a little bit, it sets all those muscles on fire, sets everything down a bad road. So try it with the toes in just a hair, just to see if you can set those muscles into motion in a positive direction. Always do the high reps first, or start out with 4 sets of 8. And if you can do 4 sets of 8, do 8 sets of 8. Do 12 sets of 8. Something light, you know. Do 16 sets of 8 with very little rest in between. Something to where you didn't just do a set and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. You know, that killed me. You know, but something where you can do a set and you say, I don't know if that worked or not. I'm gonna do another one. And I'm gonna do another one. And then, you know, then you get to that point to where, hey, I need to stop now. And you're not in too deep. Hope that makes sense. I would much rather see someone who's in pain start out by doing, you know, 16 to 24 sets of 6 to 8 than I would someone coming in like me doing it for strength, or that, you know, that's used to it, and doing the 5 sets of 25 that Westside Barbell people normally do multiple times per week. So something to think about. I don't even know if I can do it on this one. Much easier with a lighter weight. Spread the strap out. If the strap was longer, it would be even easier to spread it out a little bit too. It's enough bands, you can feel it in mid back, upper back, which you should on a reverse hyper. If you're doing enough reps, you should feel it everywhere, from your neck, your lats, glutes, hamstrings. But play with the strap, play with your foot position. Don't always assume that just because you got up there and it felt natural, or the other guy in the gym did it and it looked this way. Don't fool yourself into thinking that's the way it has to be done. Play with it. Before I go to bed, I'll do a set with one band and some one-legged stuff, especially if I'm feeling a little bit off balance. The one-legged work, I'm just gonna hop up here, grab and swing, and I'll grab over here. The one-legged work is actually easier than the both legs. You get some sort of stability and balance. You can work that piriformis a lot more using one leg than you can if you do both. I lied, I'll do a set. That's a lot of bands. You know, if you got a training partner who loves to load this thing up 400, 500, 600 pounds, and they do all kinds of swinging with it, and they want 4 or 5 people to hold the thing down because they think they're so strong that the machine just jumps across the room, and you've told them that's because they're doing it wrong, they're cheating, and they don't listen, make them use bands instead. They will learn. This machine is not going to swing near as much with bands on there as it will with straight weight.